is September 6th, 2024, and this is Coffee with Community Services, Alta California's weekly service provider meeting. Thank you very much for joining us today. We've got 61 folks on, and as usual, we'll have probably about 20 more join as we talk here. Our directors of client services are at the ARCA statewide meetings, but I know I saw Kanisha on this morning, and so if there's anything from case management, we'll see if our ADs have anything. So start off with staff introductions, and then we'll get into our agenda for today. So from our community services team, good morning. I see Tom and Alejandra on, and I see Michael Mercado on. Good morning. And I see Beverly and our manager Michelle is on, and I see our HCBS specialist Marty's on, and Carly is on from community services, and Jolana. And our QA manager Scott is on, and we have Odelia and Christy from community services, and Jaslyn and Chris as well. Chris celebrating a work anniversary yesterday, I heard. Was it yesterday or today? But my goodness, quite a lot of time, Chris. And we have, let's see, our manager Helen is on. Good morning. I think I said hi to Jaslyn already. We have Jaslyn on. And then Christine Hobbs. Good morning, Christine. And our lead, Jason, is on. And I mentioned earlier, but our Associate Client Services Director, Kanisha, is on this morning. Good morning, Kanisha. And from Community Services, I see Jessica and Rhonda. Good morning. And my assistant, Zach, is on. And I see Adriana and Rihanna as well. And good morning to our manager, Jordan. And from Client Services, Toby Golden as well. So good morning, staff. For our agenda for today, we are going to get into our sign of the week with Michael. We've got spotlights from Yoga 6 as well as North Orange County Education with Tiffany. And we'll have opportunities for more spotlights. Let's see, spotlights go to Jason, right, currently? So if you are interested in having your agency spotlighted at Coffee with Community Services, Jason's going to put his email in the chat there so that you can reach out to him directly, and he will get you set up. We do have a spotlight set up already for next week. I'll talk with you guys more about that as well. We're going to get into rate reform. We are going to talk about an update from Michelle from the Service Provider Directory. She got some additional training. Christy is going to talk about some free trainings that are offered from the START program. And Scott's going to give us a HCBS update. And we are going to talk about some things that are going on with DDS and the Department of Health and Human Services. And so in the chat, thank you very much, Jason. He's put his email in there. And I am going to now throw it over to Michael Mercado, who we always appreciate presenting to us. And I'm going to spotlight him as well.
Great. Hello, everybody. Good morning. Let me adjust my screen. Okay, perfect. Now I can see everyone. Okay, sign of the week. We're going to have 3. So you're going to use your dominant hand. The first one is yes. Second is no. And third will be maybe. So we'll start with yes. So it's like a head. You want to make sure that your thumb is tucked in like a fist, not with it out to the side like an A. It's going to look like an S, and you're going to shake it up and down like a head nod. Now, no. So no, and you can add a head shake with it as well. Now, maybe. Almost like a scale, like you're balancing something. So, maybe this, maybe that. All right, we'll start again. Yes. No. Maybe. Awesome. Good job, everyone. I'm going to send a link as well if you'd like to practice. Let me see. There we go. So now I want to talk about Deaf Culture 101. I wanted to take the opportunity to discuss understanding the difference between English and American Sign Language. It'll kind of help you to picture and visualize what the difference is. So ASL and English are a completely different language. Most people who are deaf and hard of hearing will struggle with English. Learning to read, write, communicate using English can be a struggle. It doesn't matter if they were born and raised in the United States, they still might struggle. I still struggle personally with English. But what's important is, so if they aren't very good at writing English, it's not because they are unintelligent. It has nothing to do with intelligence. It's just a different language. So I'll explain some examples of what the difference is. Right now, we'll focus on sentence structure and we'll focus on English. Obviously, you all have taken English classes, know English word orders. So structure normally is pretty strict. It'll follow a specific grammar. It'll be subject, verb, then object. So I'll give you an example sentence. So the red door is beautiful. That's using English rules, using English grammar. Now in ASL, it's a visual language. So you use your hands, you use your facial expressions, and you use your body language. Each part has its own grammar structure. And it'll be the same. So with this English sentence, the red door is beautiful. In ASL, so you're going to say door, red, beautiful. So you can see it's a pretty big difference. So again, for an individual who's deaf or hard of hearing, they rely on visual stimuli. You have to have the concept visualized first. For example, if you're an artist, let's say you're drawing, and picture the drawing as each word. Could you draw the word the? You might think, okay, how could I draw the? You can't really, so you would get rid of that. If you're following English word order, then it would be red. You might have to make the whole sheet of paper the color red to visualize that. Then you have door. Where are you going to put the door? Maybe you put the door at the bottom. It's pretty. Maybe it's shiny or something. But all you're going to see is a full red paper with a very small door on it. So that's how we visualize it with that English word order. So if we move it around a little bit, so door, we're going to draw the door first. Then I'm going to fill it in with color. I'm going to add red to the door, and then I'm going to add the shiny or whatever to make it beautiful. So that can help to express the difference a little easier. So then another topic with English words. Deaf individuals will typically actually switch two words or might put them in the wrong order. For example, race car. So we would sign car race because we're focused on the subject, which is the car. What is the car doing? It's racing. So if you switch those words around, race, car, race, it could be a dog race, it could be a horse race. So first, when we say car and then race, you get that picture easier. Another example is Taco Bell. Deaf individuals will typically say Bell Taco. Because if you see the building, what's the first thing you see? What is that image? It's a bell. So, and then, oh, okay, you see the bell and you know you'll get tacos there. And then birthday party, we say party birthday. Or movie theater, we will sign theater movie because we have to visualize the concept first of where, what, and then add in those details. So another point, in school, they will typically teach SEE, it's signed exact English. So that means that each sign would follow the English word order. You'll also see total communication, which is verbal, oral communication, and sign language at the same time. So that'll be trying to mix ASL with English, and that does not work. It will make a lot of confusion with word order, and just like what I explained about ASL and having that conceptual visual rules, trying to change that into English will create even more confusion. So I grew up with SEE, signed exact English, and I still will struggle and get confused. So that's just something for you all to think about. If you don't know American Sign Language, maybe you know no sign language at all, does that mean that you're not smart? Of course not. You just don't know ASL, and that's fine. So it's the same with deaf and hard of hearing individuals who struggle with English, reading, or writing. It's not that they're unintelligent. It's just that that's not their language. It's American Sign Language. All that matters is their language. It's not based on intelligence. So now you know, maybe you understand a little bit better about the difference between ASL and English. And that's why the interpreters will sometimes have to figure out, okay, if I'm watching something in American Sign Language, trying to make that switch to English, you might notice the interpreter might be a little behind what I'm signing as they keep up. So we really applaud interpreters. It's a lot of work. They do great work. And that's it for me. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Michael, as always. That was great. All right. I am now going to throw it over to Alan. Yoga 6 Land Park.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Alan, and I'll be speaking on behalf of Yoga 6 Land Park. Let me try and get my screen ready.
Looks perfect.
All right, great. Yes, here at Yoga 6, we are all about promoting the benefits of yoga for everyone. A little bit more about us. We're locally owned and operated. We are located near the Sacramento Zoo in Land Park. Our teachers, they teach in a way that's easy for everyone to follow and understand. And we focus primarily on the physical and mental benefits of yoga. What does that mean? It's we simplified yoga in a way where it would be more accessible, to everyone. We don't do incense and chanting and all that. We just have a state-of-the-art studio, audio visual lighting, sound system, and our focus is just on like the physical aspect and the mental aspect that yoga can provide. The owner, her name is Kia Vu. She graduated from Sacramento State University with a master's in counseling and a bachelor's in psychology. She also has a 200-hour certified yoga teacher training certificate, and she also teaches in studio, and she's always been passionate about yoga, always wanted to be a teacher. However, life circumstance didn't take her there right away. She became a entrepreneur first, and then ended up opening a studio for herself, and here we are. So our mission and vision, our company mission is to provide a space where individuals from all walks of life feel welcome and supported, embracing diversity and celebrating differences. We strive to cultivate an environment where everyone can feel comfortable exploring their practice without fear of judgment. Together, we can foster a sense of unity and connection that transcends boundaries and empowers each person to embrace their unique journey towards health and well-being. Let's continue to nurture this space of openness and compassion where all are valued and respected. And for our vision, our purpose is to create a welcoming and inclusive space where individuals with specific, walks of life and their families can access the transformative benefits of yoga. We aim to simplify the teaching of yoga, focusing on its core elements of breathing, mindfulness, and gentle movement to enhance overall well being and quality of life, and empower individuals to cultivate self awareness, self regulation, and resilience through the practice of yoga. By offering a safe and supportive environment, we aim to enhance their physical health, reduce stress and anxiety, improve concentration and focus, and foster a sense of belonging and connection within the community. The benefits of yoga, some of the physical benefits include it improves flexibility, strength, posture, balance, and immunity. It enhances respiratory efficiency and reduces inflammation and pain. It also improves blood circulation, weight management, and overall well being. Some of the mental benefits include stress reduction, increased mental clarity, mood improvement, greater resilience, enhanced self awareness, anxiety and depression reduction, better sleep, emotional healing, increased mindfulness, and spiritual growth. Why us? Trust the science. Our yoga classes address the complete needs of your body in movement and intensity to conquer plateaus, continually progress, and repair itself. We, it's all about the community. I mean, you could practice at home by yourself, but being with the community, it's a totally different experience. Yoga is a personal practice, but at Yoga 6, we believe it's shared together with a community that uplifts each other and supports progression, both on and off the mat. And we are confident with the space we provide. We take the proper precautions to assure everyone feels safe coming to class. We clean our practice space after each class to ensure a hygienic environment for all participants. And mindfulness, your well-being is our top priority, and we are committed to making this a sanctuary where you can focus on your practice with peace of mind. Here are some ways to contact us. So we encourage you to contact Kia directly for any questions about the studio, the teachers, our classes. This is the contact number if anyone wanted to take a screenshot real quick. And then, I just wanted to thank everybody for this opportunity. And,
Excellent. Let's see if folks have any questions. Does anyone have any questions?
I do.
All right, go
hi
ahead.
there.
Hi, Alan. Thanks for this info. This is really exciting. Can you tell us a little bit more about in your like adaptive or accessible yoga, what types of modifications are available for people who have limited range of movement or limited physical ability?
So our approach for each class is we encourage everybody to go, to go at their own pace. And so from there, we have our set sequence, and then we read the room. Like we get to know everybody personally. We understand and learn what their capabilities are, and then from there, from our set sequence, we provide the modifications catered to each individual. It's a very calm and manageable pace. And if we also encourage everyone, like if you wanted to just lay down on your mat for this session, because each day is different, right? Like you listen to your body. How do you feel that day? If you just wanted to create this time to stay in the child's pose or just be amongst the community, that's totally okay as well. I hope that answers your question.
Um, and what about for like wheelchair users or people who might not use a wheelchair but not be able to get on the floor? Do you have like modifications and options for like seated yoga?
Yes, definitely. We are working on getting the proper chairs for that. But yes, like we encourage chair yoga as well.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Maddie, go ahead.
Thank you. This is very interesting. Thank you for sharing. If somebody wanted to tour your facility or go check it out, is that an option? If they can go like see a session in progress or go get a tour of your facility, is that something you guys offer?
Yeah, definitely. We are open every day. We have classes in the morning and in the evenings, and anyone can drop by and take a tour and learn more about it. And we have like a little peep window so it doesn't disturb the, if there's a class going on, to take a look at, the kind of the class while it's going on.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Alan, for sharing, and appreciate the staff that are continuing to vendor more and more social recreation services, non-medical therapies for our clients. All right. Let's see. You can stop sharing, and then thank you very much. Awesome, Alan.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Let's see. I'll break it up a little bit, and I'm going to throw it over to Christy Schaefer if she's ready.
Hi, good morning. I'll go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so California Star Alta, they provide crisis services and they also provide trainings for the community. So this is their training calendar. They usually start in the spring. Their monthly classes are from 1 to 2 p.m. And there are still 3 classes available for the end of the year. September, October, November. And so for September, there's going to be a class on challenging behaviors, mental health, and trauma. And if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, and this was sent out to all the service coordinators and managers this morning. It gives you an explanation of explore and identify the most commonly seen challenges, challenging behaviors in people with IDD, learn how challenging behaviors may be associated with mental disorders, discuss how trauma symptoms might present as challenging behaviors. So that's just a snapshot of one of the classes, and there's a button here that you can just click on to register. Okay, and then you can just put your information in there and click send. So
Thank you, Christy. And these are free opportunities, right, for our case management staff, our vendors, our community. So please take, avail of that. Thank you so much.
Okay, cool. So you're going to drop it in the chat. Perfect. So any of you service providers that are looking for a free training opportunity, please take advantage of this. I know the Department of Developmental Services is certainly supporting the START program and offering these trainings throughout the state of California at all the different regional START programs. So thank you very much, Christy.
thank you.
All right. Tiffany, you ready to go?
Yes, I'm ready.
Perfect.
Hi, everybody. So my name is Tiffany Nakawadase. I'm with North Orange Continuing Education, and I just wanted to share that we are offering and expanding our distance ed classes throughout the whole state of California. These classes are specifically designed for students with disabilities. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so I can pull up the flyer, and I'm going to send it right now as well in the chat so everybody can see. But the first flyer that I wanted to share is the marketing flyer that I've created. So these are the different classes. Enrollment has already started at our campus, but there are a few other classes that I'll show on the next screen that we're still taking enrollment. So again, these classes are completely free. They're all online. They're specifically designed for students with disability. They are held live on Zoom, so typically about 2 hours. If any students are interested, they would just need to fill out the interest list. The application process is a little bit, I just wanted to pull this screen up really quick. It's a little bit lengthy. The reason being is any California community college, students have to apply through OpenCCC first. So this is the state application. Ooh, that's the state application. And then they apply to each community college. So it can take up to 20 minutes. I'm completely available to walk students through this process. And if there's any questions, just let me know once we get to the end. The next one that I wanted to show is this flyer. So these are the 3 classes that we're still seeking enrollment. And typically classes start in fall and they're in pairs in spring. So we don't necessarily always recommend students starting in spring. For some classes you can, but they typically come in pairs. They take the 2 classes and students earn a certificate. So this is a free generic resource for any regional center. I'm trying to get the word out there. We're initially looking to secure 30 to 40 students in our pilot program. There's much room for growth for that. So we still have a lot of room to get some regional centers to help spread this word and get students enrolled. So that's pretty much what I have to say. If there's any questions, and I put all of these flyers, the Spanish version in the chat, as well as my email.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Tiffany. I appreciate you disseminating this to all the regional centers. And I know I got it. And then, taking a look at it, we're at over 31,000 individuals that are served through Alta California Regional Center at this time. And increasingly, we're looking at offering just a variety of different type of opportunities for our clients. And though you are all aware of all of our efforts to expand in-person, day programming and employment services, our partnerships, like we have with Sierra College and our programs that we have, through the community college system. However, this is another additional resource for people that might fit individual needs. So I just want folks to think about these things, think about the folks that I know we've got, some case management supervisors that are on here as well, that may have folks that may benefit from this. So I want to see if folks have questions for Tiffany. And she's put all the information already in the chat for you. Excellent, Tiffany. Look at that. Very
Perfect.
good.
Thank you.
No, this is great. I appreciate this. And again, I will share for next week, we're going to have a presentation by Kibu. That's KIBU. And they are another company that offers an opportunity to utilize, in this case, some technology for some distance learning opportunities. And so we're going to have them talk with you guys next week a little bit. Again, we had the pleasure, I feel like, this week of really getting to spend some time with our adult day program and employment service providers. These in-person vendor forums that we're able to have nowadays back in person, it's so awesome. I was sitting next to a service provider I had not seen in person in like 5 years, and I didn't even recognize it until we did our introductions. And so I really appreciate it. I got to see so many of you, and we got to really, we had a presentation from Michael during the vendor forum, so as well, and a number of staff. So I appreciate our opportunities that we have for some of these in-person interactions. Again, we are trying to expand, and I know our regional center is doing a very good job of opening up new day programming type of opportunities, but that may not be the choice of some of our individuals. They may want this opportunity as well. And so we want to create that space here where we can talk about some of these different opportunities. And again, we thank Tiffany for getting the word out. And you've got 94 folks on right now, and about 70 of them are our service providers, and the rest are regional center staff, and they certainly got the message. So thank you, Tiffany. All right. And with that, Michelle Duchesne, we're going to jump over to rate reform and like service provider directory stuff, and I'm going to do my best to share my screen with it.
I have some new visuals and information to share too, John.
Well, then we
want
should
me to-
make you a co-host.
If you want me to.
I
Start.
do.
Okay.
Yeah, so I shared with the Alta staff a couple days ago. Many of you from Community Services received the rate reform update that came out from the department. And it has, every 2 weeks, they're putting out additional information. So the high level preview that I give to my staff and to everyone else is that we still do not have the information that is required for the regional center to be able to continue to implement the January 1 rate study. We believe that we are moving closer to the release of the required directives in order for us to be able to put the information out there for for all of our providers, but unfortunately it is not, they're not quite done yet. So we did have some additional meetings though this week that defined the service provider directory and some of those activities and dates. So I'm going to throw it over to Michelle right now because we know that the service provider directory and the quality incentives and the overall rate reform are all things that are tied together. And so we'll get our most recent updates from Michelle.
Thanks, John. Yeah, I have a couple things I wanted to share. So the first one, I'm sure you guys have all seen this visual. John, do you see the timeline there?
Looks perfect.
Okay, so just letting everybody know, my team and I have attended a couple trainings for this week from DDS. So the data completion has been done. That was completed September 6th. DDS is going to do a final system run on the 13th of this month, and then all providers should be receiving, they go live 9/16. So 16th of September, providers should be, the system will automatically send out an email to providers to have them log in and go validate, update, change information.
So to clarify,
oh,
so Michelle, the first part of this was DDS in essence grooming the information that was transitioned from 21 different regional centers, individual vendorization records that are held on our systems. And so they groomed all that information. They reached out to providers to get clarification about certain things. But the next part of it is the data validation requirement. And that's what you're saying is what's starting up from September 16th, you said?
Yeah, and so I wanted to kind of give everyone a visual. Let me share, just so you guys know, this is what a regional center portal will look like. So this is kind of what, when we get to that, as you guys are going and improving and changing your information, this is what the regional center desktops will look like. And what we're really looking at right here is the major requests. And I'll break down kind of what that is and explain that a little bit more. But we have major requests and we have minor and insignificant requests. And so you'll see right here, as we go through these and we approve and deny, our table, our pie chart will change as that comes across. So let me kind of break down that. So the way that they are telling us this information, so the changes can be insignificant or major. So insignificant changes are automatically approved when submitted by the system. And those are things like service location, phone numbers, email address, and designated point of contact. So the system will automatically approve those and they deem those as insignificant changes. For major changes, these are the changes that the regional center does need to look at, verify, and possibly connect with you as service providers to update some information in your program design and some other documentation. And so those are our tax IDs, organization type, service location, city, state, county, and zip code. So those are some examples of what is a major change that we will be looking at. And if we scroll
Hey,
down,
can you go back up to those again real quickly?
of course. Mm-hmm.
I wonder the extent to which those coincide with what we specifically kind of talk about program design changes, right? Like we need to make sure that you give us ample notice of any program design changes. And these kind of seem like those types of things that we want to make sure we always know well in advance. Again, a designated point of contact, we don't need 60 days notice, that your designated point of contact is going to change. However, if you're planning on changing your physical location, or you have changed your physical location, you can't just do that. Especially if you're a licensed program, we need to go out, possibly view your site, review your new licensed location, or even if it's not a licensed location, we still may need to go out and physically look at the location of where you're at. And so I know sometimes your structures change. You go from a sole proprietorship, and sometimes we have other types of business structures that you guys will form. And so again, if those change at all, that's important information for us. If your tax ID certainly changes, that's something that we do, as that precipitates typically a new vendorization with the regional center. So these are all things that, again, we're going to require our staff to take a look at. And hopefully there's not a ton of those things that we are surprised about.
And so I wanted to share, I'm going to try to scroll so I don't make anyone sick. I wanted to kind of share down here what the different scenarios are for our regional center. So this really breaks down what those scenarios look like. So if the regional center gets a request and it's approved with no modification, there's no further action. And there's some different, we can approve with modifications. So these are things like when we are notified of an updated program director and administrator, we need to verify staffing credentials. So we can approve major changes as submitted and take action outside the provider directory, following with and supporting our existing providers in that. Another scenario would be that we would reject with corrections needed, and this is going to be for records that don't match in our files, or contract amendments or things like that. This is kind of what DDS has provided to us. And then a full rejection, this shows right here, if there's a full rejection from the regional center, the data record will be locked and there will be no additional changes that can be submitted. And these are for things, new facility licenses, change in ownerships that weren't notified, the regional center was not notified, things that need new or re-vendorization. So this is kind of the overview they've provided to us at this point. We have some other trainings in the next couple weeks, and I'll provide an update then.
And a lot of these things have been discussed I think Michelle and I got our first training with those categories like about 8 or 9 months ago. So we've known for quite some time that what they're going to allow service providers to change, and what are the things that we're going to need to process on our end. So appreciate Michelle and her staff and taking control of that and making sure that we got the first portion of it done with grooming the data that went to DDS, and then certainly appreciate all of you service providers that have been so responsive. Speaking of the responsiveness of service providers, before I do want to, so Scott, we'll get an update real quickly about HCBS, and then I want to get into just a couple more things about rate reform. So Scott, how are we doing on HCBS?
Sounds good. Well, last week we talked about the fact that we did complete all 100%. In fact, all the regional centers across the state of California made their goal. Yes, definitely. We've got only 4 programs in remediation right now. And so, yes, absolutely.
That's so awesome.
We're really happy about that. And additionally, Futures Explored has been a great partner in working with those programs as well and providing support. They're also going to start reaching out to the programs that have not yet been assessed, that were vendored after March of 2023, and start providing them with support so that they're prepared for our visits coming in the next year.
Oh, excellent. Well, and I will say, those programs were initially approved as being compliant, but they have not had any subsequent assessments because they were not required to. And this is a great opportunity for them to be able to get that training and support from Futures Explored. It's like kind of an added benefit of the work that we are doing with Futures Explored. So shout out to Futures Explored and the support. Shout out to our HCBS specialists. And of course, to you service providers, getting down to 500 plus service providers that we had that were part of this, and having 4 left on September 6th is amazing. And so kudos to all of you that have been working so hard on this. So I want to see if folks have questions about the service provider directory and some of these upcoming activities that we have between now and the end of the calendar year, because again, January 1 is what we are looking at for the implementation of the rate study. Now I'm going to share my screen, and it's always interesting when I have my email open on days like this. So we'll see. Hopefully I don't get anything interesting sent to me while I'm sharing my screen with all of you guys. for this recorded YouTube video. But real quickly, this is an update from DDS that kind of outlines just the status of where we're at. And they send it out every 2 weeks, and I sent it out to all of my staff. And I really don't have a ton of updates other than it really does just summarize things. So hopefully folks can see this email okay. And once again, this is a summary of the detailed directives that we are still awaiting from the department in order to be able to implement the rate study. From now through September, DDS will release a series of directives to regional centers to fully implement the new rate models effective January 1st. These will be followed by trainings. So overview of rate reforms, the update on the quality incentive programs portion of the new rate models, a description of roles and responsibilities for changes, guidance for special circumstances and exceptions, and detailed directives for individual service types. So again, we're awaiting the department to release this information. The quality incentive program, again, something that Iqbal wanted to make sure was abundantly clear, and Iqbal, for those of you that are new, is our chief financial officer, chief operating officer actually, at our regional center. And he wanted to make sure that folks were clear on what Michelle just went over right now, which is that deadline for the service provider directory. So participation in the provider directory before October 31st of 2024 is the only measure for the quality incentive portion of the rates model's full rate for the time period of January 1st, 2025 through June 30th of 2026. That being said, we don't know, by reading that, I think we are expecting that there may be additional quality measures after June 30th of 2026, but in order to get the full implementation of the rate study, that is the October 31st deadline. Additionally, and these are not surprises to you because many of you attend this meeting every week, and we push the DDS workforce initiatives very strong because we believe that it will support you as service providers. The DSP workforce survey, again, my understanding is our providers are typically always participating very highly in these opportunities to fill out their DSP workforce surveys. That is one of the quality incentive measures. For some specialized facilities like the ones that Jordan runs out of her unit, the adult residential facilities for people with special healthcare needs, they have some additional reporting requirements that allow them to receive some quality incentives. And then there's also the employment access and the employment capacity. And then we've certainly talked about the early intervention extensively. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen real quickly because I just want to throw it over to Carly because we did get a new directive about the employment quality insurance, and I got really confused about it. And so I'm hoping Carly can kind of explain the new directive that came out.
Thanks, John. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. So as you saw there, so the employment access and employment capacity QIP incentive payments were both extended through the 24-25 fiscal year. These are the payments that they are the additional incentive payments for the CIE, competitive and integrated employment placements, and for the reimbursement or for the incentive payments for the ACRE and CESP certification. They previously were to expire June 30th. We did not find out till now that they were not expiring. So, but that is good news moving forward. However, there was a change to the employment access. The incentive amounts were increased. So this is the incentive payment for those who are transitioning out of sub-minimum wage to CIE. So if you are assisting clients in transitioning from a sub-minimum wage position into a competitive employment position, the incentive payments amounts have increased from $500 to $1,000 for 30 days and 6 months. So that is this new directive here. Do we have any questions on that? That is, aside from just the extension, that's the only change that was made to these.
And again, I got confused because they sent out an extension for something that ended like a few months ago. And so I didn't quite, obviously we probably would have preferred that they let us know a little bit closer to that, but you never know with how they figure out the funding for ongoing initiatives at the department. So any questions about that from Carly? Carly, I have a question just for, because we have, obviously we are actively expanding our day and employment services at our regional center. When new service providers are coming on, they're learning about all of these different opportunities, like through our vendorization process of the different trainings that they can attend and the ability to be able to offer the CIE and things like that. I will say for anyone that's existing, if you had questions or if you're interested in learning more about that, some of you, if you've been around a little while, have figured out that our executive director, our board of directors, employment services and housing are two very, very high priorities for our board of directors and for our executive director. And so if any of you have questions or are looking at any support and being able to help transition individuals, support more clients going into competitive integrated employment, please do not hesitate to reach out to Carly. She can put her information in there, and we can certainly make sure that Tom and our other specialists that work with these service providers can make sure to support you guys as you're looking at trying to best meet the needs of our population that really want to get to work.
Absolutely. Thank you, John.
And I will say, again, acknowledging all that you are already doing as service providers, that our regional center performs very well as it relates to some of the CIE measures that compare regional center performances, against each other. And so, obviously, we spread the word through our community services staff, through certainly our case management, that are promoting during IPP meetings opportunities for integrated employment. But we feel like there's always more that we can do, and are certainly interested in ideas and discussions, and we can always have them here in this meeting as well, since we see you guys every single week. Anything else, Carly?
I just want to, give a shout out. The amount of providers who support clients in employment, our providers have really stepped up the last couple of years. We've seen a huge increase in the amount of providers we have that supported employment. So, that's just great to see, especially as we transition out of sub-minimum wage. We're seeing a huge change in just what our programs look like. Again, we still always need more. We have, as John always likes to talk about, 31,000 clients, a lot of whom are adults that want employment. So, but just seeing the huge increase in how many providers have taken on the service is really impressive.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Carly. Because Medi is stuck on the corner of my Zoom screen, so I get to call on her. You guys had an event, or someone from Pride can share about it. You guys have an event this month, right?
We do. We have an event actually in October. I believe
It's
it's
October.
October 9th. What I'll do is I'll look for that flyer right now. If not,
Cool.
I'll send it to Carly and she could send it out. It's an Ability One job fair that we're having. We're hosting. Last year's was huge, and we expect this turnout to be even bigger. So if you know of individuals looking for employment, we're connecting them with other employers. And it's not through Pride. It's just, we're just hosting this event, connecting with different employers. And, we'd really look forward to having you guys there. So I'll look for the flyer right now. If I can pop it on here, I will. If not, I'll send it to Carly and she can send it out to everybody. So thank you. I appreciate it, John.
Absolutely. I think Carly went last year over there, and I heard that, there was folks getting bussed over. There was a big crowd, to my understanding, and so it sounds like it's going to be an even better event this year. So I would love to get the flyer. Oh, Dawn, yes. Dawn, you got updates for us?
Thank you for sharing it out, John. I was like, yeah, and it's going to be pretty big. We've got so many employers that are interested, and thanks, Carly. And I know Gary came last year before he left Regional Center. I highly recommend. We got so many people that came up. We've got people that plan it out that actually have a disability, numerous disabilities, John, to set it up for success. We got some hires from that event, some direct hires. So please, vendors, if you're trying to connect, clients with employment, we're going to do the same thing. Bring them along. We would love. And it is at Safe Credit Union Convention Center. And it's our second I Am Able Disability Job Fair, October 9th. Thank you, Medi. there is a registration or sponsorship opportunities, or if you want to reserve a table, or if you know of any employers that would like to join us, please let me know or Medi know, and we can pass it along to Kat. But thank you so much, John. Yeah.
Again,
Did you share that? I would be like, John did.
so if we can, I saw a hand go up. It said Galaxy A10. And so if you had a comment, you're welcome to give one.
Okay, I just want to say I'm a very new provider, so I wanted to make sure I'm on the mailing list to receive information.
Awesome. So let's talk about that real quickly. And so typically in this meeting, we will bring up a variety of topics and we try to get the information into our chat. And then we also record these meetings and they go on to YouTube, and there's still people that watch them after the, for 3 years we've been doing this. And people, we still have 20 or 30 people that will watch the recordings of it as well. Additionally, on the front page of altaregional.org, we want to make sure that you are signed up as a service provider there to be able to get something that's distributed. And then additionally, our community services specialists sometimes will send out like targeted emails to specific service provider groups that are within their networks. But this is a great place to get updates. And thank you, like I said, Dawn, for getting that. And I think we ended up with some stuff in the chat maybe as well. We did. Good. Excellent. Anything else, Dawn?
That's it. Just come along. We would love to see everybody can just come to and just, so we can be a community together and support, those applicants. We always, appreciate any volunteers. It was fun. I loved it. I thought I was just going to stop by, and when I got there was a line around the building. As I told John, I was like, oh, I'm sure it's not going to be that big the first time, but yeah, word got out. There's a lot of people looking for employment, so it was very successful. Thank you.
Oh, that's excellent. Thank you so much. We've had some leadership changes that maybe we should discuss here and talk with folks, since the news is floating around out there. So the Director of Developmental Services, Nancy Bargeman, has retired. And yesterday they announced that Pete Cervinka, who is the Chief Deputy Director right now over strategy and data, is going to be I think it's the acting director or interim director. Acting. I have to figure that one out. Not the permanent director right now is the current position that Pete is in. And I think he's actually down at the ARCA meetings going on down in Southern California today. And then additionally, retirements wise, Secretary Ghali, Dr. Mark Ghali, has announced his retirement as well. And we've learned that Kim Johnson, who some of you may be familiar with from the Department of Social Services, she's the current director, is going to be the new Secretary of Health and Human Services. I have only met Kim, I think, in person one time. She was over, some of you might have as well, some of my Alta staff. If you guys were around when we did our our residential folks, any of you guys were around for our big CCL PPE giveaway, now Secretary Johnson joined us and handed out a bunch of PPE out in front of the Alta office during COVID, and along with the CCL staff during the day. So certainly nice to know that we have someone that is going to the agency level that is very familiar with certainly regional centers, with a lot of our service providers, and a lot of the issues having come from Department of Social Services. So very excited about that. And, we'll see what other additional retirement announcements and things like that we get. These things kind of sometimes happen. And then additionally, yeah, I think that's what we've got as far as, management changes and things like that. We did do an announcement for folks that follow our social media, or if you're one of our staff members, that Alta California Regional Center will be relocating to the Natomas area. for our Sacramento headquarters in March of 2025. So for those of you that are familiar with the Arena Boulevard area in Sacramento, or maybe are familiar with the very large empty office building that's right next to the freeway right there, the Centene campus, we are going to begin leasing that building, one of the two buildings for our staff beginning in March of 2025. So I know message went out via social media, and we'll be putting some stuff in our newsletter as well to share with folks about our upcoming move. All right, and so with that, I will look to Jordan or Helen or Michelle to see if there's anything else that we have to go over. I know we, go ahead, Jordan. Yeah, please.
I was just gonna say, we did turn in our formal
Good.
fiscal year 2024-25 Community Resource Development Plan to DDS. I know we have shared our resource development priorities with you guys, but we've turned in our formal plan, and we don't, of course, know when we'll get that back, but when we do, we will be sharing it here at Coffee and on our transparency website, so you guys know what we were awarded, and we'll hold a big request for future proposal meeting and get it all started. So it's exciting once we turn it in to see what we get.
Absolutely, and I think we went over some of the ideas with you. There's more specifics. We did have some specific multifamily housing projects that we were looking at supporting, and we did submit those to the department as well. So maybe Rhonda, next week we can maybe go over the three projects that we submitted to the state, and let folks know about what we're trying to do locally here to expand some housing development. Again, we've completed the lease up activities for the Heights on Stockton. Mirasol Village is full, and so it's time for us to get more opportunities like this for folks. So, and then DDS's calendar is heavy with master plan meetings. There's going on for the next few weeks. So if you do get an opportunity to go to DDS's calendar, you can see the upcoming master plan meetings. And I believe for the master plan for developmental services that you can join some of those things remotely as well if you want to listen in on the discussions on how we're going to be moving forward as a policy. So. All right. Thank you all very much. I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. We will look forward to talking to folks next week. And again, if you are interested in doing a spotlight here, and thank you so much for those of you that presented, please don't hesitate to reach out to Jason in the email there in the chat, and we will make sure that he gets you set up. Thank you very much. Everyone have a great rest of your day. Take good care. Bye-bye.